Welcome back to the fourth semester BA English Complementary course Journalism in Journalism. Chapter 1 Fundamentals of Communication Part 6. In this session, we will discuss reporter. What are the responsibilities and rules or function of reporter? You know, the reporter means reporter. In the case of reporter, all Alan Bell states that journalists are professional storytellers of our age. According to that means they are professional storytellers. Actually, now storytellers is changed. In the previous or in the hereditary or in the ancient period, they used the news as a storytelling one. But nowadays, the storytelling method is quite changing. That it will begin with a climax and continue with some sort of resolution at the end. But news stories start with the climax and often end in the middle. Okay, that is the difference. So a reporter gathers news and writes for his or her organization at every social, political or cultural function at the scene of a crime, accident or natural calamity. A reporter is given an honored place. That means he collects all kind of news. There may be many news from any function or anything or whatever he needs. He will get many news, and he collect the news on the behalf of the newspaper or on the behalf of the reader. So for whom he is collecting this news, it's collecting for the reader, and they can destroy. That means if the news is not worthy one, or if it's affecting the reputation of the newspaper, it will be a very much, or it will be a devastating one. So a newspaper or a reporter performs the noble task of educating and informing the reader about what is happening around them or what is happening some far away. Whatever it may be, they go after events, statements and other developments taking place at social, political and economic fronts and come up with a well-documented reports. So he or she may collect all kind of news, and he will sort out it and make it good for the reading purpose, and he is working for the purpose of reader or on the behalf of newspaper. He will be the first person to collect it. So the first source of the newspaper is the reporter. Understand? And big newspapers maintain a host of reporters. On the small case of small newspapers, so they will have a handful of reporters only. Like Malayalam Manorama, Madhubhumi or whatever it may be, the big newspapers, they will have many reporters, and they will, all big towns, or they have many bureaus and big towns as well as reporters there. And that means in major cities like Kochi, Kozhikode or Thiruvananthapuram, they will have more reporters. Understand? And they have some reporters in the local area also, and they have some national reporters also. That means they have the bureau in Delhi or some other places also. And besides, they will work according to the norms of the newspaper, and the big newspapers will have part-time newspapers, news reporters also. There are two types of reporters. One is regularized reporters and another one is part-time reporters also. And there may be some freelance reporter also there. They will collect the news and getting the emolument or the rewards when they are presenting or giving the news, like that. As in other, every other profession, specialization is there for reporting. The specialization very much need for it, especially in the case of political, legal, business, education, crime, sports, films, and special events also. There must be need some specialization, and these reporters write authoritative articles in their specialized areas. Their background knowledge and specialization enable them to give meaning to event and issues. And whatever the events and issues they confront with, they will make it or they will use or they will first supervise it or they will scrutinize it and observe it for newsworthiness in that. If the newsworthiness has found, then it will be collected or gathered and verifying it. So reporter will verify the news also, and an experienced reporter or being what an assignment asks. You know what is the assignment asked for a reporter or an experienced reporter? The first one is what has happened. He will ask himself. First one, what has happened? What has happened, and that is what has really happened. What has happened and what has really happened. The complete source or complete story. What has happened, what is really happened. And the second one is why. The first one is what. Then second one is why. Why means what? Why or how it happened. Why or how it happened. That is then he will find out that solution for it. That means why or how it happened. That is what are the explanations. The explanation must be needed. Then what does it mean? What does it mean? So what does it mean? What does it mean? Here is what has happened and what has really happened. Why it has happened or how has happened, and what does it mean? That means how to interpret it. It should be interpreted to the languages of the reader or the mind of the reader. Then what next? Fourth one is the first one, and this one is second, and this one is third, and the fourth one is what? What next? What is going to happen next? What next? What next? Then that is in the light of the present news, what is happened to or expected to happen next? Next, what is beneath the surface? What is the beneath surface? Something we did not see. Invisible thing will be there, or they have to search for the beneath or the very deep. That is that should be interpreted to the event. So what is beneath the surface? Fifth one. What is beneath? What is beneath? What is beneath the surface? And these things must be discussed in the, or they must need for a reporter. And next we will discuss what are the qualities of the reporter. You know, the qualities of the reporter depends, or the qualities of reporter affects the news quality also. That means if he presenting a good newsworthiness, it will also increase the reputation of the newspaper. At the same time, if he reduces it, it will also affect the reputation of the newspaper. The qualities acquired of the reporter is also evolving along with the passage of time. That means it is a phenomenal, news reporting has to it has to be taken, or news collection is to be taken under tremendous pressure or tremendous changes also. It has some risk value, or it has some risk also. Whatever it may be, let us briefly discuss some of such qualities. Okay, so that's we are going to learn now. First one is news sense. If they have to find out whether the news has the sense, news sense. That is the quality. It depends on the quality of the reporter. He or she should be able to compare various news values among hundreds of news collected from. That means reporter has to make up the mind to include the most important elements of the speech. That means if he attended 1 hour speech, he must be reduced into 100 words or summarize it, condensed without losing any main points. Second one is accuracy. He must need accuracy, and that means it must be very correct one. The news must be very correct one. That means he must check the fact. Next, clarity. So in the case of first one is news sense that we are going to write on the blackboard. That is, first one is news sense. First one is news sense. Second one is accuracy. Third one is clarity. Whatever the news, whatever the news we collect also, it must have some clarity. That means it must not be. Third one is clarity. That means a reporter should have clarity of mind and expression. Next, fourth one, objectivity. Objectivity. That means aim of the objectivity. He must have an aim of objectivity while reporting. What is the duty he has got? So he must avoid all kind of bias attitude or prejudiced attitude. Whether he may have some ideology or some likes or dislikes, that should not be reflected in the news. It must be a correct one, or it must have an objectivity. Next, fifth one is alertness. Alertness. A reporter should always be alert while dealing with his or her subjects. Whatever the subjects he is giving also, he must be always alerted. That means at any time he must be ready for work. That means he must alert, or he will give the news breaks for the news organizations or whatever it may be. It may be some exclusive one also. So exclusive stories do not walk into newspaper offices, but alert, report, sport, and follow them up. It's getting, and at the instance they will send it. Next, speed. Speed means already know. That should not be today's news will be tomorrow's old news. That means whatever the news getting that same time, it should be reported, because each and every time the news becoming old and old. That's why the speed is very much a need for a reporter. While maintaining all other desirable qualities, a reporter should also strive to work fast. He should be very he should be very ready to work in very fast. That is the thing. And he should decide fast and write or type fast, and it should be sent in very fastly. Next, seventh one, building contacts. A good reporter must have a very nice relationship with the people. That means he must maintain a long list of friends and acquaintances who will be immense help in the news collection process. There may be many, or many friends will be there, and he will collect from these, or his source may be these friends. So he will maintain a good relationship with the people. Next, eighth one, curiosity. Curiosity. Okay. Curiosity. A reporter should have lust for facts and nose for news. So what is that? Have lust for facts and nose for news. That means facts must be there, news must be there, but at the same time it must be fact also. So it will, the reporter's curiosity will lead into finding out the fact and the news. Next one is ninth one, skepticism. 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 Skepticism, you know, a reporter should not take anything for granted. He or she should verify the claims. When he heard anything, he should not readily collect it, because he should verify the claims and he should collect the data and he should scrutinize it and he should search for a proof for the news. So everything must have a skepticism, doubtfulness. Then only whether it is good or bad, whatever it may be, without hesitating to collect the news, he should first find out the source or the real thing behind it or the proof for the news. 10th one, punctuality. Punctuality, you know, it is a need for every worker normally. Punctuality. Punctuality. Punctuality, it is, you know, a reporter must be punctual at correct time, punctual in meeting and events, and you know, when the moment he got an information, the second or the moment he should try to reach there, because it must be reached before any other reporters collecting the news. It might happen that a rival may misinform of light coming, and if we reach the place lately or in a delay, we have to depend secondary sources or some other rival factions may mislead the reporter. So that's why the accurate, or he must reach in advance of the event had take place, or if he got the news at the moment, he must reach there. Next, 11th one, integrity. 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 Integrity means you know that this attribute implies uncompromising honesty and strict adherence to a stern code of ethics. A journalist must need a code of ethics. He must be a very sincere and honest to the readers. He must not show any kind of bias or prejudice to the readers. He must collect the real fact of the news. That is the thing. So in the 2010, you know, Neera Radia tape, it was leaked and it got the publics. That means there were a nexus between the journalist and some other, you know, bureaucrats or some businessman. The, you know, media or journalism, you know, it is the fourth state of the democracy, and it must be a very sincere or honest thing to do or deal with it. But some of the evil or you know, vested interested journalists may collect bribe or money or some other rewards for giving news or suppressing the news. So such kindness should not be need for a real journalist. A real journalist must have integrity. Next, 12th one. 12th one is fearlessness and frankness. Fearlessness and frankness. Fearlessness and frankness. So fearlessness and frankness means a journalist must need courage to ask. If the person who does not like that question also, he must ready to ask the question to get or until he is getting the correct information from that place, so that person. So news stories, especially exclusive, are not given on a platter. but they have to be sought and investigated fearlessly. It must collected fearlessly. It may have some risk, but whatever it may be, the fact is that a reporter is discharging his duties on behalf of the public should make them bold and brave, because he is working for the public, he is working for the person, he is working for the silenced people, or whatever it may be. His duty is to ask the question without any kind of fear. If the person is very high esteemed person also, a real journalist will ask or expose if any corruptive practices are there. Whatever it may be, he must be a very bold person to ask, to disclose the real thing happening behind the scene, or whatever the thing. Or similarly, they should not succumb to threats and intimidations. So a reporter should become an effective representative of a large readers and their extended eyes, ears and minds. So that's all for this class, and in the next class we will discuss the duties of stringer, or what is stringer. Okay, thank you.